you need to be able to deal with rate increases. You could either do that by doing exercise 8B, or you could show it in your DI only, up to you. Interest rates are largely variable in Australia, so we need to be able to show that we can handle calculations simulating a change in interest rate. This, please note, this is not an interest minimization strategy. Would you ever want your interest rate to be higher on a loan? No. But why would we want to show it in the DI?
Because it happens.
Is it a realistic thing that can happen?
Yes.
Did it happen multiple times in the last few years? You are showing it in your DI because this happened and it's still happening. The point of the DI is to show realism and show your understanding. Okay? And also, when you do the maths and your parents have a mortgage, you might apologize for some attitude you give them because it sucks. The amount more that you have to pay really sucks. Remember in the past that whenever the conditions of an investment changes, it means that you need a separate TVM solver for each section. This is exactly the same for loans. So every time an interest rate changes, you need another TVM solver. Okay? Let's say you're paying off the loan normally for like 10 years and the interest rate goes up. Well, you're going to have a TVM for the first 10 years and a TVM for after the interest rate changed. Also, if conditions change, you need a separate TVM solver, which is what I just said. You must find the interest paid in each section separately and add them together at the end. So, what is the maths for a rate increase? Well, if interest rate increases and N is kept the same so that you pay off the loan in the required time, your PMT is going to be larger because you're paying off a higher interest rate and you want to pay it off in the same amount of time. All right, what I'd like you to do, please, get them mathematically for rate increases, and can you get this example down? And then we'll work through that. Then you'll get a 5-minute break so that you can start fresh in your DI. So what's the example? Consider the default loan that we just set up, and we're going to pretend that the interest rate rose 1% after 5 years of paying off the loan normally. So the things that we need to work out. Find the new monthly repayment after the rate increase. Find the total interest paid on the loan with a rate increase of 1%. And how much more interest do I pay because the interest rate went up by 1%. It's a realistic scenario. All right, let's have a look. A, find the new monthly repayment after the rate increase to pay off the loan in the required time. What is this TVM solver on the screen telling you right now? Paying for how long? The full 30 years, okay? That's not going to help me with this. All this TVM solver is helping me with is telling me this is how much I'm paying every month. So to answer A, I need to work out how much do I still owe the bank after paying for 5 years of the loan normally. So what's 5 years worth of monthly repayments? How many N is that? 5 times by? How many months in a year? 12. So N is going to be 5 times by 12, which is 60. The interest rate hasn't in the first 5 years, we're paying it off normally. What was the starting debt? 500 grand. I was paying $2,684.11. I'm solving for FV because I want to work out how much do I owe the bank after only 5 years. Is FV going to be 0 if I've only been paying for 5 years of these payments? No, because those payments were for friggin' 30 years. So if I change this to 60, that's going to be alpha. Enter. That tells me that I still owe the bank $459,143.66 to 2 decimal points. Still owed to the bank after 5 years. Why do I have to work that out? Because now I can do, so we could name this section paying normally for 5 years. If I wanted to do a subtitle for the remainder, what little title could I give it? Interest rate went, how much is the interest rate going up? 1%. So, I don't know, interest rate to 6%. So, I've been paying for 5 years already. The home loan was supposed to go for 30 years. So how many years do I have left to pay off? 25. Good. So your N is going to be 25 times by 12. 25 times by 12 is 300. You're going to make 300 payments. But the interest rate is now, if the interest rate went up by 1%, what's the interest rate going to be? 6%. PV. I'm not starting at 500 grand anymore. What's the number there that's telling me how much I owe the bank now after 5 years? Which number is it? Good. So that's going to be 459,143.66. PMT is what we're solving for. Why is the PMT going to change? The rate went up. What do I want to owe the bank at the end of the loan? 0. PY and CY equals 12. So if I solve for this, I make this 6. PV is now going to be 459,143.66. I don't want to owe the bank anything at the end. Alpha, enter. Suddenly I'm going to have $2,958.27 to 2DP. Monthly repayments. So just under $300 more per month that you need to do. Can you get that working out down? Then we'll continue on with B and C. After the rate increase. So your payments go from $2,684.11 to $2,958.27. Can I work out the total interest paid in just one calculation? Or are there two sections to this loan? There's two sections. There's this part, paying normally for 5 years, and then there's this part, paying at the higher rate. So interest for first 5 years is going to be PMT, which was $2,684.11. How many payments did I make in the first 5 years? 60? 60 payments of 2,684 minus that formula, 500 grand Take away, what did I get the debt down to? $459,143.66. I'll do the working out first before I find the answers. And interest after rate increase equals. How many payments were there after the rate increase? 300 payments of, is it still 2684? No, my payments went higher, $2,958.27 times by 300 payments of that, take away. Is it still going to be 500 grand that I start here? No, my debt started at 459 and then it went down to 0. So 459, $143.66, take away nothing. That's the full working out. So I'll quit out of this. You can copy down while I get the answers myself. You can make a good use of the brackets on your graphics calculator now. So in the first 5 years, you paid $120,190.26 in interest. In the remaining 25 years, you would pay $2,958.27 times by 300. Take away $459,143.66. $428,337.34. What do I need to do to these two numbers to work out the total interest paid? Add them together. Total interest equals 428,337.34 plus 120,190.26. 548,527.60 total. I'm going to leave that there because I don't want to scroll up and stuff around with your screen, but can you remind me what the default interest was on the default loan that I asked you to fold over a little bit? How much interest did you pay on the default loan? Huh? Is that more or less than this? Significantly less. So what's that 1% doing? Almost 100 grand more you're paying off for your house because the interest rate went up in Australia. How much did the interest rate go up in the last few years? Not just 1%. Total interest B. So we've answered B. How much more interest is paid compared to the default loan? So the last step is how much interest did I pay with the interest rate going up? $548,527.60. Take away. Can you read out the default loan interest, please? Can someone check that he's reading it out right too? $466,279.60. Take away $466,279.60. $82,248 more in interest because of the 1% interest rate rise.